When you think of a tree, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Maybe you think of a leaf, or maybe you think of the roots of a tree and their ability to sustain the most treacherous storms, still remaining standing with its robust trunk. Or maybe you think of the vast area in the woods, consisting of just trees that make up an entire forest with an entire ecosystem living within it. Or maybe you think of how each tree started to grow. You remember the way you planted each of those trees into the soil in hopes that one day you'll return to see a fully grown forest, only to be cut down once again and turned into paper. Every year, approximately 218 million seedlings of trees are planted in the soil of BC. After logging companies clear-cut the area, regular people like me escape to the woods to embark on reforestation projects and to fill the land with as many trees as possible. This is known as silviculture. This year, I couldn't help but be concerned with looking around me to see smoke and wildfires surrounding many projects that we embarked on. Our forests are burning down at concerning rates, and it is only predicted to get worse. So what exactly is going on? Let's start by talking about forests. Forests are key ecosystems that provide habitats for animals, withholding a wide variety of trees. The natural benefits also include, but are not limited to, air and water purification and carbon storage, which are crucial to our environment and its well-being. Trees are also key in providing timber, which is a key building block to almost every infrastructure that we see on an everyday basis. Based on a report in 2023, Canada is known to be the largest exporter of forest products, with over $29.7 billion being exported. The importance of forests and their vital role in society and the environment as a whole is beyond measurable. However, these lush ecosystems, which provide so much for our Earth, are burning at alarming rates. National Geographic defines a wildfire as an uncontrolled fire that burns in wildland vegetation, often in rural areas. These fires are known to be caused by three main factors, including lightning strikes that can hit trees in areas that experience drought and ignite a fire, many human errors and carelessness, including things such as fireworks, cigarettes, unattended bonfires, and agriculture. And finally, the effects of climate change, which include an increase in temperature, dry areas, as well as windstorms that could ignite fires, as well as contributing to the spread of fires. The overall effects are extreme and devastating. It is evident that the smoke emitted from the wildfires lead to poor air quality, resulting in chronic health conditions. The smoke emitted into the air also worsens climate change, as massive amounts of carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, is released and emitted back into the environment, and therefore adding to the ozone layer. When we lose trees, we're also losing the protection that they provide for the runoff and purification of fresh water through their natural forested watersheds. Losing trees also means less absorption, which leads to a greater probability of floods that can damage ecosystems and habitats of both animals and people. The economic effects of forest fires are also astronomical. The government of British Columbia directly stated that the province's estimated cost of fire suppression was approximately $817 million. Wildfires resulted in BC being under a provincial state of emergency for a total of 28 years. These numbers are only predicted to rise as the fires continue to worsen. Many preventative measures can be made in hopes to help this issue. Firstly, when manual reforestation projects are done, it needs to be done carefully and properly. Although reforestation is extremely important, oftentimes it can be found to create a problem of ecological succession, which means an unnatural, unsustainable forest and an ecosystem with many problems as a whole. Fencing off areas that have been affected by fires has been predicted to be a more conservative way for forests to rebuild themselves. A lot of focus has been put on treating forests not as a timber industry, but instead focusing on ways to plant less flammable species of trees and to be preventative of this ongoing issue. More preventative factors also include technology that has the ability of detecting signs of forest fires before they happen or right at the beginning in order to tend to them right away. It will also be important to educate and implement measures about reducing fuel loads, implementing fire bans, and putting actions in place to reduce carbon emissions. If these measures aren't put into place, this problem is only predicted to get worse. If serious action isn't taken on a global level, it is predicted that fire incidents are going to increase by 50% by the end of the century. As a society, we need to remember that trees are our roots, and as much as we think of them as a separate entity, they are the heart of our earth that we must also treat as though we are one, because without these organisms, we too will face its devastating effects.